time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey, guys. Welcome back. Whoa. It's 2021. It's a new year. It's a new us. RJ, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm doing very well. Everything is better than it was last time. So
I'm so excited because, obviously we haven't really been on camera with each other since 2020, which was such a ridiculous year. So now I get to start off my very first video of 2021 with you.
Let me tell you, I am so honored to be here with you always, but especially in 2021. I'm so happy, so honored. So yes, thank you.
Of course. Well, I know that you obviously are such a big Real Housewives of Potomac fan, and we just finished off that season. It was a wrap, but I thought that we did so well together in our banter and just communicating about the episode with a lot of unbiased opinions. So I wanted to see if you'd come back to recap Real Housewives of Atlanta with me. And I know you had some homework to do, but did you watch some of the episodes?
I did watch some of the episodes. And again, thank you, Adam, for just allowing me to be on your show, your platform. I have been a watcher of yours, a faithful watcher. So to be on your show is just like, it's just so fantastic. I'm really honored, seriously. But yeah, I did my homework. I'm not going to lie to the viewers. I am very nervous to recap Atlanta because I know nothing about it. I only watched Potomac. So this Atlanta show is new to me. I'm coming from a fresh perspective. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that, at least that it's a fresh perspective. I don't have any favorites. So
I think that's what actually makes it so much more fun, because we've had the Atlanta women for so long. And, one of the topics that we have to get to in this episode is Kenya Moore kind of talking about Porsha Williams and her protesting and if she's doing them for the right or the wrong reasons. But if you aren't familiar with these women, it's going to be easier to have this conversation because in the past, we've seen bad behavior from all of them. So for you as just a new time viewer and a fresh watcher, I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. I'm excited, but it's like a whole new another territory. And I'm just like, okay, I know people, they go to bat for these women. I see it, even though I'm not a watcher. So this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, you can't mess with these Atlanta women. You can't. I mean, they do. They have their fandom.
Yeah.
But I say let's just jump right in.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So we start off this episode. Are you familiar with Kandi Burruss?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay. I mean, I feel like everybody is at this point, but we start off this episode with just a little bit of banter and kind of B-roll. And I thought it was interesting because Kandi is about to send her daughter Riley off to NYU, and she's sitting there with her assistant, Don Juan. We all know him as well. And they're talking about, Don's kind of letting Riley know, hey, listen, you're a little bit spoiled and privileged here. Like when you go to NYU, you're not going to have people telling you to do your homework and do this and do that. And she kind of shades Kandi a little bit. And she's like, listen, she's not the book smart. She's the street smarts. And I'm the academically, I guess the smart one, the book smarts. But I thought it was funny to see a little shade from the mom or the daughter to the mom.
Yeah, I mean, Riley, she is a beautiful girl. And she's trying to etch her own way, in my opinion. And so she, at that time, just had to say, hey, yeah, mom, you did your own thing. And you didn't go to college. This is me, and I'm doing this, and it's NYU. It's like, come on now, like that's a big deal. So I think she's just trying to find her way as a young woman and, trying to navigate her life as an adult. And she's trying to separate herself from mom. She's trying to, in a way, to me, I took it as she's trying to step out of mom's shadow because mom is a star. Mom has been a star since she was a teenager. So I it was a little shade, but it was like, yeah, mom, I'm trying to get out of your shadow now. So yeah, bye.
No, I get that. And honestly, it has to be so hard to grow up as a celebrity's child. I mean, no matter what level of celebrity you are. Like Candy Burris is pretty much up there, but imagine being like Beyonce's daughter or Kim Kardashian's daughter or even Candy Burris's daughter. It's like you have big shoes to fill.
You do. And you never know what people might want from you. You never know if, they're being genuine or if they're just doing it because you're on TV or because of who your mom is and they're a fan. So it's very, very hard. And I really think that Riley is doing a great job. I really think that she's centered and she knows what she wants. She has strong opinions, and I really think that she's going to be fine in New York. I do. Yeah.
I agree with you. All right, so just to keep it moving, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button. Let's show some love for RJ. And let's move on to one of the first major scenes of this episode. We see Kenya and Cynthia and Cynthia's sister Mel all sit down and try to participate in some yoga, but that really wasn't the big deal here. The big deal was the topic of Cynthia's wedding and why her now new husband, Mike Hill, was so unhappy. Did you have any feelings about that? I know that you're obviously just kind of coming into the season, but Cynthia really wants this big wedding, and Kenya ends up breaking the fourth wall in the scene by saying, you're trying to have this big wedding. You're trying to do this for a show. You're pretty much telling this man, if I can't have this big filmed wedding on the show and have it the way I want it, then I don't want to get married. And I kind of agreed with Kenya.
I don't know. I don't feel like Cynthia was trying to do it for the show. I feel like she felt like she deserves, like she's finally with the person that she loves and she wants to be with him for the rest of her life, and she would like a nice wedding. Like, yes, we're in the pandemic, but it's just like I felt like she felt like, look, I want to have a nice wedding and I deserve to have a nice wedding. So yeah, like it's going to be well, I won't say big, but I want a nice number of people to be there to support me on my big day with the person that I love. There were a lot of people during the pandemic that did similar things. You know what I'm saying? Like people, they fall in love. They want people that they love to be there. And sometimes it's, but the only thing that makes it different, obviously, is the pandemic. So I don't think she did it for TV. I'm gonna just say that. I don't think she did it for TV.
Okay. I mean, Cynthia did make a statement and say, very much so that she found this to be a little bit insulting because she didn't get married last time for TV. She didn't get divorced for TV, and she's not getting married this time for TV again. But something that I'm sure, and I'm going to bring up a few memes later for you, but I'm sure that might be insulting to Cynthia, is she wanted so bad to have this big wedding that she did think was going to be filmed at one point, and Bravo didn't even film her wedding anyways, which
exactly.
is,
yeah,
but
her wedding wasn't even filmed. So, and I know, even though I don't watch the show, of course, I follow pop culture a bit, and I know that Kenya, when she got married, it was really, really, really private, and so her perspective is a different perspective. And I understand both. But like I said, I don't think that Cynthia did it for TV. I just don't get that gut feeling from, I don't think that she did that for TV.
Okay, fair enough. I have a question for you real quick. I'm about to do a crossover, and I want to cross over to last season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Did you watch that at all?
No.
Okay, so Denise Richards at one moment said, "Bravo, bravo, bravo," and broke the fourth wall, which is something that you're really not supposed to do in reality TV. You're not supposed to kind of break this fourth wall and expose the fact that you're filming for a show. It's supposed to seem organic.
Right.
But we're getting that more and more, and Kenya breaks the fourth wall in this episode. Do you feel like this might be a tactic that Bravo's using to just kind of modernize the network and move forward in a different direction, where they're showing that, sometimes this is reality and this is what it's like filming reality?
It seems that way. I really think when they break the fourth wall, things become more interesting, because it's just like, okay, we know that what's going on right now is just like, it's really, really real. You know, they're talking to production. Production is talking to them. And I've seen it a lot in Potomac. And I really think that it's I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And it might be used as a tactic, but I think it's a good thing because it I don't know, it just shines a different light on these TV shows. Like it brings in this new element, if you will. And I like
No, I completely agree with that. I think that it makes it more fresh. It makes us understand that this wasn't edited out,
right,
and it doesn't feel like so rehearsed.
right, right. It's all natural.
Okay. So once they end up leaving the scene and going from the yoga studio, later on in this episode, Kenya ends up meeting up with Kandi. And we see a flashback because Kenya has some plans for Cynthia. She wants to throw an surprise engagement party.
Yeah.
And we see flashbacks of how she almost ruined her engagement before and how she didn't have the best year last year. But when she sits down with Kandi, she immediately starts talking about this party and how she wants Kandi to host it. Kandi starts laughing because she knows that the only reason Kenya wants her to host it is because most of the women probably won't show up for Kenya. Do you have an opinion about that?
So yeah, I thought that was interesting because it's like you're wanting to throw, like if I wanted to throw a party, like a surprise party or whatever for my friend, for whatever reason, like I'm gonna be the one doing it. You know, I'm not gonna come to my other friend and be like, girl, I want to do this, but you know what? I think that you should like host it because I think that would be better. That's just me. That's my opinion. That's my stance. If I wanted to do something for my friend, I'm going to do it. So I was confused. I was confused watching on why she would want to do that, and then Kandi kind of like peeled back the layer. Girl, like this is probably the reason why you asking me to do this because you know certain people probably will not show up if we use your name as host. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
And what does that say about Kenya? And honestly, I really like Kenya. You know, watching her, I like her in different moments. And then there's sometimes, like any housewife, they have moments that don't paint them in the best light.
Mhm.
For example, when Kenya's walking around and with the event planner and she's pointing all over the place and she's like, I want Cynthia to come in here and I want her to cry. And if she doesn't cry, then I want a refund. You know, she gets these moments where she gets a little bit sassy and we like her, but then we like to not like her. She's just one of those controversial housewives.
Right, right. And I think that's probably her appeal. That's probably why people, I don't know, love to hate her or whatever. And you know, it's entertaining to watch. You never know what might happen next. And that's how I felt with her. I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know how she truly feels. And I don't know. It just was like a toss up. So being like that is entertaining on TV.
See, I think that she actually comes out and shows exactly how she feels once she gets disinvited to this party, which we're going to get to. But, you know, when she's sitting down with Kandi, she said, so I see Porsha got arrested again. And then she went on to tell Kandi that she feels like maybe Porsha is not fighting in the right way. She starts talking about the fact that Porsha was at some of these protests and she didn't have a mask on, and that could be more, I guess, hurt people in a different way, even though she's trying to help with the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you feel like Kenya was just trying to throw shade in this moment? I mean, I'm just curious as a fresh viewer, what was your perspective on that?
I think that she wanted Porsha to follow the rules and regulations and to abide by what's happening now with the pandemic. I don't think that when she was speaking that she was trying to be shady. I really think that she was just like, okay, like if you want to go out and march, that's fine, but also wear your mask, you know, and do your best at following the rules that we have now during this pandemic. I mean, I personally, after George Floyd passed away, I went out a few times and, you know, I wore my mask and everything, but, you know, there were some people that didn't. So it was just like, you know, what do you do on that? How did you navigate? I mean, you try to stay as far as away as possible from people, and you do your best. But I don't think that she was trying to be shady. I think she was just saying, like, that's fine, but just wear your mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say for everybody who's watching right now, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's show some more love for RJ and the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. And I also want to make a point really quick. When you put yourself on reality TV, unfortunately, you are now a part of the public eye. And you get called out for all of your hypocrisy or controversy or whatever it is that comes your way. I like to personally look at some of the different Instagram fan accounts for the Real Housewives, and especially the Real Housewives of Atlanta, where I found this particular one that says, Kenya is talking about Porsha fighting for justice without a mask when she was just at Cynthia's wedding with no mask.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
So the Black Lives Matter movement and being out amongst these protesters, you don't know who's been tested. You don't know who has it. I heard that at Cynthia's wedding, because I had a friend that hosted it. I heard at Cynthia's wedding, everybody was tested. They were tested. There were certain rules in place that had to be followed before the actual wedding. So all these people were tested. I'm not saying that, necessarily still people without a mask, that was okay, because you just never know.
Right.
We're all tested. There were certain things that were set in place before this happened. It wasn't like this was a movement outside amongst people who you do not know. And I feel like nobody has been, or the majority of us have not been perfect during this pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
So I really think that it's important that we check ourselves as well before we check other people, especially when it comes to the pandemic. Because I know I have not been perfect. I'll be the first to tell you. And matter of fact, I had a situation over the weekend, and it was just like, none of us have been perfect during this pandemic. So don't try to beat up on anyone about this until you're perfect.
Okay. And, honestly, for somebody who's making this meme, it kind of seemed interesting, and it did seem a little bit hypocritical. But then when you point out the fact that Cynthia and Mike kind of took all the precautions necessary to make sure that everyone who attended the wedding was COVID-free, that does give you a different perspective. Because we both know anything in media, as soon as someone puts something out, people believe it.
Yeah.
And some people are smart enough to not necessarily believe the first thing that they read. And other people are like, oh my gosh, hypocrite. And
right.
they're so quick to just be angry or aggressive or mad.
Yep. That's true. That's
right.
Right. But, Kenya can be like, if somebody says, oh, you don't have a mask on at the wedding, she can say, well, Mike and Cynthia, they took precautions before, the wedding, blah, blah, blah. Like, she can say all of that.
I agree. All right. So I'm going to move on to our next housewife. She's actually our new housewife this season, Drew Sidora. And we see her. She has a lot of marital issues. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. It's just that is the storyline that she's giving us this season. Yes. And she's just really being transparent about where her and her husband, Ralph, stand. Did you see the backyard therapy session?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So when the therapist asked them, what are 3 things that they're looking for? Drew Sidora said that she wants transparency and genuine love for her 9-year-old, along with less anger and more peace. Those were 4 things. But when she was talking about transparency, she was talking about the fact that her husband sometimes will leave and not talk about where he goes. He'll leave for 3 days. He disappears, and she doesn't know what to do. But when he comes home, he's like, I don't have to tell you everything. So that's where the lack of transparency is. And when she's talking about her 9-year-old son, she just wants Ralph to love her son, who's not his biological child, the same way that he loves his other kids. But right. She feels like he shows the 9-year-old a little bit more of a tough love.
Yeah.
There was a meme, again, from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I like this because you break it down and kind of help us understand a little bit more. Yeah. But it said, I don't like Drew's husband. He's giving us manipulation, gaslighting, and a pinch of narcissism. And I think they're talking about this therapy session. Do you get any of those from him?
A little bit of gaslighting for sure. I could see how one would think that he is narcissistic, not narcissistic, but I really feel like he is greatly damaged from his childhood. From what I heard, he had to be the man of the man of the house at a very young age, and that just puts you into a different space. You know, I could relate a lot about what they were saying when it comes to like my family and just like my personal life. I really think that he's just a really hurt person, and I really think that therapy will help. He needs some time to heal, and I think eventually he'll see the horizon, and Drew and him, they will get to a better place because they definitely have chemistry. And right now there's a bit of a disconnect, but they definitely have chemistry. I feel like, okay, first of all, when he said that what he wanted was, what he said, respect in sex,
Yeah,
that,
3 or more times a week.
Adam, I literally screamed. I was like, ah! I was like, what? It, because it,
It almost looks like he's not taking it serious.
well,
But then maybe that's just what he wants.
He's not used to the soft, and the compassion. Like he's not used to really what would I like to say, the like affection. He kind of like shuts down when you try to be affectionate. You know, even when he saw Drew, like he said, getting ready to cry, he thought she was getting ready to cry. He just went like that, like on her shoulder. She was like, "What was that?" He was like, "Oh, you look like you're getting ready to cry." He doesn't really know how to be like, you know, like, babes, like, yeah, like, I'm here for you. Like, you know, some of the stuff that the therapist was saying, he should have been saying to her, like, I'm listening to you. I'm receiving this. I'm taking this all in. Like, what can we do to change, you know? But I believe that he can get there. It's deep down in here. He has to let some things go before he can get to that place.
Right. Well, he also did just come out because a lot of people have been attacking him since they started filming on The Real Housewives of Atlanta because they've already had a few just really intense moments where people think that he is kind of this really bad husband. And he came out and said, listen, I did not want to film for The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I did not even want to be a part of this. But I chose to because when I married my wife, I knew that she was in the entertainment industry, and I chose to always support whatever endeavors she tries to pursue. And then he also went on to say, I was really, really in a bad place. I was battling depression, anxiety, and all of these things when we were filming. And that's what you guys are seeing. You guys are only seeing a portion of it, which we all know that's how reality TV works. Editing's very clever.
Right. So he said that recently?
Yep, he said that he never wanted to be a part of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and now he looks back and he regrets it.
Yeah, I felt like he was in a bad place. Like his father like passed away, you know, while they were filming, and like I said, like his childhood didn't seem like it was the best. Like he has so much going on psychologically that, you know, I feel empathy for him, and I do. Like I said, I felt like him and Drew, like they definitely have a chemistry. There is a disconnect that I saw, but they do have chemistry. I know that he loves her. She definitely loves him, and I think that they can make it. And but I could see, you know, his gaslighting, and I could see how sometimes like he's, you know, all about him and his needs, and less about Drew's needs. But therapy will help that.
Okay. Well, we have Marcella Booth Davis who said he seems jealous of her and he disrespects her. He's a cheater.
He's cheated?
That's not factual that I know of. But I think when your husband does leave for 3 days and doesn't want to tell you where he went and he drove to a different state, there could be questionable tendencies. But I think right now that's just hearsay.
That is not when. Like, come on now. Like, you have to be able to tell your wife, your partner, if you're going to be gone for days at a time, That's not right. That's not fair. You have a family. Now, I did not agree with that. Honey, if I was married to somebody, we would have open communication. You would not be gone for days at a time without even letting me know. That's not cool.
No, I mean, I agree with you. And, you know, the thing is, too, is it's a contradiction. And I also see where Drew Sidora is coming from in the respect that she has young children and she wants to know, God forbid something happens to her children or to her or whatever the case is. If an accident happens, you never know. You can't really predict these things, that she can get a hold of him. Right. And he's saying, you know, sometimes I don't want to be gotten a hold of. And then also in the same regard, he has the whole place rigged with cameras. So he can definitely make sure he knows what she's doing at all times. He says that he's not doing it. Also, when he did this interview where he was putting out his statements, he said, I don't do or have the cameras to stalk my wife. I have the cameras because I just want to make sure that everybody's safe at all times.
Okay, I mean, I guess he can throw that in there and make it seem that way. But, you know, going away days at a time, not answering your wife's phone calls and things like that is suspicious.
Yeah, it's suspicious.
Bob, you know that's not right. Because if Drew did that, you would be livid. You will be infuriated. I could just tell by your demeanor that you would be infuriated. So don't do that to Drew. Don't do that to the family. And don't try to make an excuse that, oh, I'm just trying to make sure that the family is safe. That's just one thing. But the other thing is that you're watching. You're watching to see if she might bring somebody in the house. You're watching to see her moves. So let's not play that game. I do believe that he could be a good man. I really do think that he could succeed in this marriage with Drew, but he has to check himself. You have to check yourself first, look in the mirror, see your wrongs, and right them.
Okay. Well, I want to say someone said on here, I don't necessarily get cheater vibes, but there was definitely not something quite right.
Yeah.
But then also someone said, and Marcella again, on this show, he is being revealed. He watches her because he knows what he's doing. Thank you, Marcella, for the super chat. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Let's get more eyes on this video. Yeah, but I agree. This is definitely, there's something not right here. You can't just immediately accuse somebody of being a cheater because that is a huge accusation. Right. You don't just bring that to the table, especially because this is a family, right? And maybe sometimes he does need his space and he escapes. And like the therapist said, you know, that's how he gets a response is when he ends up leaving. And that's how he dealt with his mother. So now he's carried that into his relationship.
Right.
But are we just being too easy on him and giving him a pass?
No. Like I said, you know, that's suspicious. That is suspicious behavior. I would not condone that or accept that. If my man did that, and whether I was married or not, if I was in a relationship and my man did that, oh, that would be a big deal. I would be like, no, that's not cool. And you can never do that again or I'm out.
Okay.
We have to communicate.
No, I agree. Communication is everything. Denise, thank you for the super chat. She said, he is an abusive narcissist. It is hard to watch. That's not the editing. I can't handle watching the abuse. And people are going in saying he is controlling. Gosh, there's a lot of people who just are not a big fan of him.
To call somebody a narcissist, like I feel like I hear narcissists a lot these days now. There was a time where I didn't hear it so much. People have to really do their research before they call somebody a wholehearted narcissist.
What would you consider to be a narcissist?
Somebody with no empathy completely.
Okay.
At all. You know, disengaged from humanity, that kind of thing.
Okay, somebody who can hurt people and not really feel bad for hurting them.
At all. At all.
Yeah, I don't really get that from him. I feel like, again, like you were pointing out, you know, sometimes when you have a little bit of a tumultuous upbringing and you're trying to figure out how to show these different emotions or be in a normal relationship and have that perfect family when that's not what you grew up with. Right. Sometimes it's harder to share your emotions. Listen, I'm one of the first people I can sit here and when people come on and they talk with me on my lives and they're going through an emotional experience, I'll cry with them. But then when it comes to me and I'm sitting here in my own relationship, sometimes you won't get any emotion from me. So I can go up and down too, but we all grew up different ways, and that affects how we portray ourselves.
And you guys have to understand, like, this is television. Like, if us as the viewers were like some like in their position and on TV, people might call us a lot of different things. So I'm not quick to label people, especially when it comes to like calling somebody a narcissist, because and let me just go ahead and say it because I'm honest. I was with somebody who was a narcissist. I know exactly what that's like. And I just feel like Ralph, is his name Ralph?
Yeah. Ralph.
Is a deeply, deeply, deeply hurt person. Like you said, his home life wasn't good. He doesn't know the placement of what a family looks like as an adult. He didn't see that as a child. So he's trying to figure that out the best way that he can. I really do think that marriage counseling, and personally, just, separate from Drew, if he did some counseling and therapy, that would be so beneficial. I really think that he could change. I don't think that he's a lost cause.
Okay. Well, someone did say this, and I think I can agree with this the most. I will call him arrogant and dismissive to his wife for sure. You know, right. Okay. And narcissist might be a strong word, but there are some moments of arrogance and definitely dismissive. So we can agree on that. And maybe we should just continue to watch the season and see how the rest of it plays out. And let's give him a little bit of a pass here, because this episode, he lost his father. That was obviously another traumatic moment in anybody's life, especially him, when that's kind of the parent that he relied on the most. So we'll move on and pass on him for now, but we will revisit this.
Yes. I mean, you see at the end, like near the end of the episode, after he lost his father, you see a more softer side of him, you
Right.
see him kiss Drew, and, obviously with deaths, it changes people, it changes us. So yeah, let's see.
Okay. All right. Fair. Moving on, I want to go back over to Lake Bailey, because Cynthia's sitting there and all of a sudden, boom, she gets a phone call, and it's from Porsha's sister, Lauren. Lauren's inviting her to Porsha's surprise thank you party for all of the protesting and everything that Porsha is engaging in. She's an activist right now, and she's a big activist for the Black Lives Matter movement, which is amazing. And they just want to thank her for going out and putting her name out there, getting arrested, and everything that she's participating in, right?
Yeah.
When Cynthia asks her who she can invite, or if she can bring a +1 or ride with Kenya, Lauren said, I'm not really sure about Kenya coming, but okay, if you say so, sure, I trust you. I trust that she'll be on her best behavior. Now, I know that you haven't been a big watcher, but were you aware that Porsha and Kenya, they've been in a fight before? They've been in multiple kind of arguments. They've had a very rocky road.
Yeah, I definitely know about the situation that they got into on the reunion. That was a big deal. That was everywhere. And so even with that, I know that obviously things weren't good. So
Right.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Right. When she was sitting there with the bullhorn and just yelling in her face. And then she also had that like cane stick thing, remember? And she kept pointing it in her face. I mean, Kenya is one to try to get a rise out of people. She does it all the time. Just like when she stormed in through Marlo Hampton's event, and she's like, Kenya, more hair care. And she's just constantly doing these different things to get a reaction out of people. And then the moment that they react, Kenya's like, you're done, you're fired. And she knows what she's doing. She's a smart woman. We can't say that she's anything but. She's a smart businesswoman. She's great for reality TV. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. She is definitely intelligent, and she knows how to go there. She knows how to go there and push.
No, that's fair. So when she calls her and she's calling and talking to Kenya later on after inviting her, Kenya, I'm gonna fast forward. Kenya ends up calling Cynthia when she's getting ready for the party to tell her about this Rosa Parks doll that she got for Pilar for her birthday, but she never had the opportunity to give to her. Right. And she thought it was really cute just because of the theme of the party. And she thought it would be a great gift for Pilar, and she couldn't wait to give it to her. But immediately Cynthia is like, oh, I got to tell you something, and lets her know that she got a text from Lauren, and Lauren told her, hey, listen, we don't want any bad energy. We don't really know what would happen if Kenya ends up showing up. So we're going to have to go ahead and disinvite her. And Cynthia, we need you to do that since you are technically the one who invited her. And you see again where Kenya breaks the fourth wall and she's getting her hair done and stuff. And she's like, did you guys know about this? To production. And they're like, no, we're just finding out. And she's like, well, somebody better pay for my hair and makeup. And she was mad.
Yeah, in that moment, I really felt bad for her. Excuse me. I really felt bad for her. I was like, oh, like they're just going to do that. And she's already getting ready. She already was looking forward to it. I really felt bad for her in that moment. I could see that she was like genuinely hurt and upset about that. But
well, I agree, because no one ever wants to be excluded or left out, right? Nobody wants to be kind of put off to the side or even disinvited. What, especially if you've been invited and now you're rescinding your invitation, that hurts too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, it's like when you have been, when you have history with people and the family members and friends know about certain things and they intervene. In this case, it was the sister who intervened to stop Kenya from coming. It's just like par for the course. You know what I'm saying? Because Kenya, based off the clips that they were showing, didn't have the best relationship with Porsha in the past, and she came off as unpredictable. So the sister just was probably coming from a protective stance, and like, this is very important. This is Black Lives Matter, and we're celebrating. And I'm not going to have you potentially ruin this event in this celebration.
Well, and just to be fair, you have to play devil's advocate here a little bit, because Kenya's been known she kicked Porsha out of her party the first season that she showed up and she started filming with everybody. She kicked Shamia, who's Porsha's friend, off of her boat one time. She's constantly been known to have somebody removed from one of her events or parties, or she'll call for security to have somebody pushed out. And now it's kind of like she's getting to feel the same way that she's made other people feel. And again, I'm not one-sided at all, Porsha versus Kenya. I'm just trying to watch it as a viewer, because I'm a huge Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, and I've seen both sides of the spectrum. So I'm just wondering if this could be a humbling moment for her a little bit.
Maybe, or maybe it just might make her go tick, tick, boom.
Well, Marcella said, thank you for the super chat, Marcella. And guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Let's show some love for the Real Housewives of Atlanta and RJ.Allan. Yeah. But Marcella says, Black Lives Matter is a serious topic. It's real. I agree. Kenya should not play with this. Giving the doll was a dig. I don't know if I feel like this was giving the doll would have been a dig, but I feel like when she called Kandi to explain, hey, Kandi, I need you to go ahead and invite the girls to Cynthia's surprise engagement party because I'm not going to be able to attend it. She goes on to say, I think this whole party is self-serving and fake. It's just a photo op anyway. Why is it that she always manages to get arrested on camera? And then boom, like you just said, tick, tick, boom. That's when we get the real Kenya coming out and how she really feels about Porsha. It just took a matter of a few seconds.
So the thing about it is, Adam, I'm a little confused. Why do you think that they waited until the day of to disinvite her? Do you think that was for the show? Because she could have been disinvited, right?
Listen, I think a lot of things are for the show. I think that this adds more of a dramatic effect, right? They wait for her to start getting ready. She's already getting glammed up. Yeah, of course she's going to be more mad in that moment, as opposed to if she would have just been disinvited 2 days before. Right. It creates a little bit of chaos. It creates drama. Now Porsha and Kenya have a reason to be in an altercation. Again, this is reality TV and producers are slick.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, because like I would never, like, I can't imagine myself ever disinviting somebody on the day of something. So I'm just like, could they have like disinvited her a couple days ago, but I guess they did it for the show. And boy, oh boy, did they get what they wanted. They got what they wanted.
Well, I mean, other people are saying for the show, it's a TV show. Everything is for drama. Mm-hmm. And then we also have SR who said, I don't think giving the doll was a dig because she got the doll for the baby's birthday prior to knowing about the event. So yeah, those are not one and the same. Her gift was genuine. Okay. And then other people feel like that was disgusting, the fact that they did that to her. And Porsha's sister Lauren said on Instagram that Kenya was disinvited hours after being invited. Oh.
What?
Okay. Okay, well, if that's true too, Lauren, I feel like you know this because you're friends with some of the housewives, especially Monique from Potomac. Yeah. The friends of, they don't have contracts. They can say whatever. Lauren does not have a contract. Porsha has a contract. So Porsha can't go out and reveal or necessarily break the fourth wall, exposing moments that happen that are shown on TV, because then it looks like, okay, I'm filming and I'm filming the sham show. And then all of a sudden I'm exposing it. It's kind of like what Nene did after she left, calling the whole thing fake. But for Lauren, she can come out and speak on it. So maybe that's true.
Wow.
And another person just said, look at Lauren's post. Okay, we're going to have to check that out.
Wow.
I saw Lauren's post. She did say that. Okay.
That means that she was faking it. Her reaction was fake.
RJ, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore. But we move on back over to Porsha, and Porsha is out having lunch with Tanya and Marlo, and Porsha talks about her weekly co-parenting gifts. She's no longer with Dennis, but he's constantly sending her these Chanel bags and these designer bags, and hey, she likes materialistic things. A lot of us like materialistic things. So she's not going to stop him from sending the gifts, but she does want him to know that they are no longer in a relationship. Do you feel like she's sending the wrong message by receiving and actually taking these gifts?
No.
No? I mean, it could be an ongoing push present, just to be fair.
I remember seeing him in the headlines, and he didn't like treat her that great in the marriage. He was very embarrassing to her publicly in the marriage. Give me those gifts.
Right. Well, technically they never even made it to, they were just engaged to be married. And they had, no, I mean, a lot of people thought that they eventually did get married, but when she was pregnant, he was cheating on her. Yeah. And that's one of the worst things you can do is cheat on your pregnant wife.
Oh my God, I can't take stuff like that. And again, I make it personal because I can only speak from experience. I've had girlfriends that's happened to that were married. Like, come on, get your stuff together. You're going to cheat, be married or be engaged, and you're going to cheat on your pregnant spouse? Like, are you kidding me? Give me those gifts. Give me a Birkin, give me a Chanel. I want all of that every single day. Okay?
Yes. Hey, listen, I've never been cheated on while I was pregnant, but I'm sure I can totally sympathize with this.
And what would you take? I want to know what would be your gift?
A deed to a house, something. Birkin, that's $10,000. Sometimes it could be $100 if you're going crocodile Birkin or whatever kind of Birkin, but I want a deed. Especially if you're cheating on me while I'm pregnant. Thank gosh, I don't think that I'll ever have to go through that experience. But
yes, gift me.
That's fair. That's fair. And just to move on, and I know your time is precious, so I want to thank you again for being here. While everybody's on here, we have a bunch of people in the room. Guys, go ahead and hit like. RJ, before we go over this last scene, can you tell us where we can find you? Because you finally just started your YouTube channel. And by the way, guys, are you already you're almost at 1,000 subscribers, or have you already hit it?
I'm beyond 1,000.
Oh my gosh. In what, 3 days?
Yeah, almost in less than 3 days. My goal was so much lower. By Sunday, because like Mitch, he's the one who helped me, Mitch, and he was like, RJ, what's your goal? And I told him, and we surpassed that the next morning. So I'm super excited. Thank you, Adam, because you were the one mainly pushing me and trying to get me to that point. And I think that everything has its divine timing. That's my belief. And it happened when it was supposed to happen, you guys. So now, just like my Instagram is just, these letters, RJ.Allan, RJ.Allan. Same thing for my YouTube, but except minus the dot. So it's just RJ.Allan, RJ.Allan. And you can find me on YouTube now. I can't believe I'm in YouTube land.
No, I love that. And, of course, we're going to talk more off to the side, too, because I have so many things and ideas for like collaborations and hot topics, and you already know what you're doing anyways, but I thought that you were such a fun personality. I thought that you'd be perfect for YouTube. So the fact that you're on here, I'm like, yes.
I'm so happy, and I'm inspired by you, Adam, and I'm just so happy that we know each other now and that we're doing this, because you definitely inspired me. Like,
I'm not taking all that credit, but just to move on, again, we're so happy that you finally joined the YouTube family. We do have another person who sent in a super sticker. Ivan's Lyra. It said, Porsha was kicked because she didn't respect the rules of the party and Shamia wasn't invited to the boat. Kenya was disinvited, ready to go for no reason. Okay, so Ivan's feels like Kenya has appropriately kicked people off of the boat or out of parties, and she did it for the right reasons, whereas she was disinvited for no good reason. Okay.
And he's from Europe. It's a whole nother vibe, like when it comes to etiquette and rules of parties and stuff over there. So that's interesting, his perspective.
Okay. Let me see. All right. That is interesting. Let's move on, I guess. I want to go really quick to the party. Tanya ends up bringing Porsha to this party that Lauren is throwing for her. Again, this is a thank you party. And at this thank you party, when Porsha arrives, she gets super emotional because she feels like even though they're all thanking her, she never did this to be thanked. She's following in her grandfather or great-grandfather's footsteps, and she's doing this for the right reasons. She doesn't need a celebratory party because she feels like right now there's so much work to be done, and this isn't a time to celebrate. You could totally tell when she breaks down that was a real moment.
Yeah. No, I really felt for her. Like, I really feel like Porsha's advocacy is so needed. She's a powerful voice. She has the platform, and I really feel like it's genuine. And I just really felt for her in that moment because, like I said, for myself, I went out after George Floyd got killed. I went out and I live in the DC area, so I was able to go just 2 days after he passed, and I felt the energy. I got to engage with people that felt as passionate as I did. And I just really respect Porsha for her work. And, she's right. You don't do it to be celebrated. You do it because you feel compelled to.
Right. No, I agree with you. And, watching her give her speech and just this whole party, it was very sweet of her sister to put together for her. And it also kind of pays tribute to what is Porsha's storyline this season, which is her activism and what she's participating in and how she's putting herself out there in her name and her public figure out there for the Black Lives Matter movement. So honestly, I thought the party was great. And I didn't think that, again, no shade towards Kenya, but I didn't think that this was just a photo op or a self-serving party. I felt like this was I thought it was a great party to show. And I thought it was really important that they put this on TV, especially with everything that's going on in the world today.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that it was a photo op at all. I don't think that it was a fake thing. She did it just for clout. I think that it was real. It's genuine. It runs through her blood. Her grandfather was an activist, and it's just in her to do. And I feel like, because they showed the clip where she said something about the Underground Railroad, and, she had trouble figuring out what that was. For her to come full circle now and to be, educated and also educating other people on the movement and what we've gone through as African Americans in this country, I think it is just a fantastic thing. I can just feel it from her. It's totally 100% authentic.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd love to hear that. And, you know, someone else on here put, Zach Abbey, thank you for the super sticker, said, regardless of feelings, Lauren was proved right. I think meaning once Kenya got on the phone with Kandi and started going in about self-serving, photo op, why does she always manage to get arrested on camera, kind of saying all of these things. I guess Zach is saying, regardless of the feelings that Lauren has, she was still proved right in this moment. Kenya was on malice. Also, Porsha was hit first on the boat. That boat, that's going to go down in Bravo history. Okay, just to wrap this up, I want to move on real quick and talk about Latoya Ali. A lot of people, Latoya didn't make it to a full-time role this season. She is a friend of, but she's coming in hot. Kandi compares her to a younger Kenya, and when she comes on the show, she has this way about her where she's constantly chiming in and trying to say something that gets a reaction out of people. For example, when the ladies first meet Fallon, even though Porsha and Kenya and them, they've already met. Do you know Fallon?
No, I was saying, I'm sorry to cut you off. I like her. I like her
too. I think, and she's stunning.
Gorgeous.
I mean, all of the women are stunning, especially Latoya Ali is stunning too. But
yeah,
her attitude, though, sometimes is like she's a little like she gets in there. And I mean, originally she was talking about Drew Sidora's wig. She's trying to get Kenya on these dating sites. And then she looks at Fallon, and when Fallon explains she has 3 kids plus 5 stepkids, Latoya asked, how old is her husband, Simon? She said 56. And then she said, oh, I knew that because you look like you date older men that have money. It's like, that's not something that, how do you think people are going to react to that?
There's people that are that blunt enough to say stuff like that. I mean, you know, I like to know what I'm dealing with. So at least with Latoya, you know what you're dealing with. I don't like the fakery. So if somebody can come out and show me who they are, I love that.
Okay. Well, someone said right here, Nancy T, Latoya is being so thirsty to start beef is similar to the neighbor's dog barking nonstop at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. It's irritating background noise. Wow. Candace says, Latoya gives me pretty on the outside, but ugly on the inside. Theo says, Latoya keeps being likened to a Bad Girls Club member. She acts a little too new around these season reality veterans. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. People have their opinions. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't already, make sure you go follow RJ on his YouTube channel, his new YouTube channel that's already just thriving. It's at RJ without the dot, Allan, Allan. I'll make sure that I put it in the description of this video. Wow. Before we go, I always like to go on a positive note, and I'm so thankful that RJ took time out of his day to join us today. But I want to ask you, RJ, what are you looking forward to most next episode?
I want to see Drew and Ralph. Hopefully, maybe this might be too soon, but hopefully, like in a more loving space. You know, because they're getting ready to go to the funeral of Ralph's dad, and I just hope that kind of brings them closer together. I'm a sucker for relationships and love, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. All right. And I love that because that is positive. So now since you brought positive, I'm going to have to bring a little bit of a negative here. And I hate to end off like that, but as much as I'm excited to see that moment where they come together, I'm also super excited to see the moment at this surprise engagement party, this white party, where Porsha thanks Kenya for the gift, and Kenya looks at Porsha and she goes, yeah, it would have been nicer if I could have given it to you in person. And then we just see, boom, like, now here we go again. So I like a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, let me tell you, and Bravo will give it to you like that. And I'm just like, oh, Lordy Jesus, what are we in for next?
All right.
For next.
All right. Well, RJ, is there anything that we should be looking out for from you this week? Or are you kind of just figuring out what you're posting and what you're doing with your channel right now?
I'm just trying to figure it all out, you guys. This is so new to me, new territory. I'm trying to figure it out. So nothing yet, but I do have some content coming.
Yeah. All right, so we'll be watching out for you. And again, guys, I will post how to find RJ in the description of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you. And hey, cheers to my very first video of 2021. This is a great way to kick off the new year. And thank you for kicking it off with me.
Adam, my pleasure. Happy New Year to you. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.